think so too.
Your boy, Bake, your boy, Aaron bleeping Rodgers. What's up, man? What's up with, you're not a Packer fan, but you have been a Aaron Rodgers guy.
Aaron Rodgers. Here's my thing. Aaron Rodgers is not happy in Green Bay. I told y'all.
Go there, huh?
I'm gonna just be honest with you. I told you, why did he go back? He should have left. He should have sat out until he got.
Wasn't his choice. He asked to go.
But I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. You did all of this, and then you went back. It's like you're in a toxic relationship.
Very.
You mean he should have just held out and just not come back?
Yeah, he should have held out. Hopefully they traded him. Because it's like you're in a toxic relationship and you take time apart. Like, yeah, whatever, I'm done with that person. Woo.
Yeah.
They treated me crazy. And then you go back to that toxic relationship.
Been there.
And now you see that the fruits of his labor of being in a toxic relationship showed in game 1. He didn't look like he was there. Like, Aaron Rodgers don't throw a lot of bad passes. When you saw Aaron Rodgers throw the ball, it looked like damn near he was playing Pop Warner football, and he didn't want to throw it. It was like one of those quarterbacks who's a runner who can't throw, but you put him back there because he athletic, so you think he's going to make something happen. So every time he throw the ball, it's so inaccurate. Bruh, the Packers, to not even score a touchdown, is
unheard of. That's
Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, that's embarrassing. I've seen him have some struggling days, but they at least put up some points. To get routed like they did.
Question. If you had to choose who's more culpable, are you saying the Packers or Rodgers? I know it's gray and it's messy, but if you had to side with one, who has the moral high ground here?
I think first of all, I think it's both, but I'm gonna give a lot to Aaron Rodgers because if you chose to go back,
then give it your all.
Unacceptable.
I'm gonna go with the Packers organization because you let it get messy. In certain relationships, to me, going to your point, Bake, like toxicity starts somewhere with somebody, right? Like, some relationships, it becomes somebody cheating or jealousy. Like, one person kind of starts the toxicness, and then both people become toxic from it. And so I feel like the Packers as an organization started this toxicness from how they've been handling things and being real bullish, to use my J word, on how they want to conduct business. You can't have a Hall of Fame QB of an Aaron Rodgers stature and you're not running things by him. We know how this goes. You have to run things by your best players. That's just how this goes if you want to be successful. Tom Brady not in on every meeting, but I guarantee still certain things was getting ran by him. And then once stuff stopped getting ran by him, what did Tom Brady do? He got up out of there. You feel me? And I feel like Aaron Rodgers was sitting there like, all right, they made this decision. Okay, I'm going to let that one slide. Okay, cool. But then after decision, and you not being brought in on these decisions or even talked about in these decisions, it's like, we're going to do what's best for us. You created this toxicness. Aaron Rodgers ain't helping with the toxicity. So now, as Jay said, it's very gray, but I'm going to start with who started the toxicity first, and that's the Packers organization.
Yeah, no. So you're right, but you're wrong. You're right in the sense that it is messy, and, this really got blown out of proportion when it got to Jordan Love. But I would argue, and I'm just judging body language. I'm judging people's self-interest, and because I got some dirt and some rottenness inside me, and you got to mature and you got to grow out of it. But I'm going full Kyrie Irving on this dude. Like, I think he's a step above Jay Cutler. He just has a prettier ball and he's a better football player than Jay Cutler. And he's been allowed, because he has the prettiest release in NFL history. He's one of the most decorated, efficient QBs of all time. And it's allowed him to be a subpar leader, to be a front runner, and to get away with stuff. And the Packers are a team-first organization. They have a system. And I'm not going to sit there and say that they don't have their own ego and are, don't want no inmates running the asylum, so to speak. But Aaron Rodgers can't look. he can't help but look at Tom Brady and Russell Wilson and say, I deserve to get treated like that, and then not reflect on himself on what can I do to receive that treatment if that's what you want. And for him to come out here, true story. 2 weeks ago, dude was getting my homeboy was drafting 12th. He said, and I'm mad I didn't go on the pod and say this. He goes, Jay, thinking about drafting Devontae Adams 12th. This was before the season started. I said, bro, that's a toxic situation. I'm telling you right now, this is on some KD, Draymond stuff. Like where you're questioning, is this guy invested? And I was like, Devontae Adams is going to get his money no matter what. When he goes out there and he tanks the season, that's why I drafted AJ Dillon. This bro, he is not invested, and you need to send him home now because this is it's not going to get good. They're about to have a bad season, and it's the reason I picked the Vikings single-handedly.
It makes sense. I'm going to still stick with my Packers pick because the NFC North is trash.
Here's my thing. Again, it goes down to this. Rodgers, if you wanted to go back to this situation, then it plays on you. Because look, first of all, you can blame the organization in the beginning. But the way you played on Sunday, that's all on you because you chose to go back to that situation. There's no complaining no more. There's no arguments. It's time to play football now. Now, if you would have set out, then yes, it would have still been on a Green Bay Packer organization. But you chose to go back to this organization. You chose to play at this organization. They made some moves for you. They said they was going to make some changes. And you came in there and you dropped a zero doo-doo bomb that I ain't never seen in my life. And that's
still bitter.
Day, you have to make it better now. That's on you. When you go back in that situation, it goes on the person now, not the organization. So I'm blaming Aaron Rodgers completely now because you went back. You had a choice. You chose. Now show up.
Nah. Show up. Let me tell you how a dude with some evil, rotten stuff inside him thinks. He's thinking, I already proved myself with the MVP last year. They know that this is a bad situation. So when I get traded or I put up historically bad numbers compared to what I've been doing my whole career, I'm still getting the bag at the end of this offseason. So if I can tank the Packers season in the interim, fuck it.
Well, I mean, that'll be something to watch, man, to pay attention on. They on Monday night next week are game picks because they on Monday night. So, he can come back next week, though, for 350, 4 tuds, and then look. It ain't going
to be against the Lions. It's the 3 games following that. If I go look back and look at their record, they got some competition, so they'll have a little rebound week against the Lions, but it's going to get messy after that.
It'll get interesting. So, man,
that's fine.
What's your team do this week? Did y'all register a touchdown?
My team, we played horrible. we played horrible. I'm not afraid to admit that we played horrible. You
also not afraid to go quiet either.
I didn't go quiet.
So now are you still confident that y'all gonna finish second and make the playoffs now after watching week 1? This is a real question. This is real.
I have to see the next 2 games. The first game we played, we couldn't. I don't know what it was, but our offensive line couldn't protect. Matt Ryan didn't even have 200 yards on the air. That was embarrassing.
And I wouldn't blame Matt Ryan for this past weekend.
I understand that, but I'm just saying we got to figure something out. We got a running back issue. We got a receiver issue. That's why I told everybody the Julio Jones trade was a bad move. Having Julio and Kyle Pitts and Calvin Ridley
would have been explosive.
Would have been explosive for us. Mm-hmm. We would have had an outside, a slot, and a tight end. That's all you need if you're a quarterback. And now if you double Julio, you're gonna free up Ridley and Pitts. If you double Pitts, you got Julio. It just creates opportunity, and then you can run the football. They bring us back to being the same dimensional. One guy, and that's a tight end at that. And a smaller receiver. We see what happens with smaller receivers. They're not that good when it comes to being that number 1 guy. That's just what it is.
So you still need a few more weeks.
So I got to say a couple more weeks. But again, our defense didn't do bad. It's just offense wasn't putting up no points.
And then, but y'all got Tampa Bay this week. That ain't a good follow-up game. You feel me? If y'all could have got like the Vikings or something this week, that'd been cool. Did I get
Matt Ryan may not have been the heart of the problem this year or this past week, but he's definitely not a part of the solution. And he has the biggest cap hit. So if the cap is 170 million, I know you guys get tired of hearing me talk about numbers, but if Matt Ryan makes $35-40 million, 25% of the salary cap, a hard cap, no extra going over, soft, hanging over, like, bro, I could go get a rookie quarterback who can run around and use his legs.
That's why
and put up more than 6 points.
They wanted to draft the heir apparent. That's what they wanted. He wanted the heir apparent.
I wanted Mac Jones. I wanted
Justin Fields.
You wanted Fields too. He wanted Fields or Mac. That was Mac
Jones. I wanted him. I did. I said that. I said it's time for something new. I love Matty, but I just think his time is
too late. Hey, you got Kyle Pitts. I mean, and now you can after this year, this is Matt Ryan's last year in Atlanta. Book it.
So
book it.
So with Atlanta being a bad relative, is Philly really that good?
I would say this. Jalen Hurts, he looks really good. He looked really good. He looked
comfortable
good throwing the ball. But here's my thing. He didn't get a lot of pressure. We didn't pressure him a lot. He looked like he had all day to throw the ball. And then when he didn't, he used his legs to extend the play and made throws. So he looks like he's the real deal, but I got to see him play against a defining defense. Our defense ain't been that nice for a while. So I would say he played really, really
sample size relative. Yeah, he looked good.
Jalen get the Niners this week.
Yeah, and we get to see that's a good.
Defense a little different. Jalen get the Niners this week. Defense a little different. I was impressed with the Eagles just because, the head coach looked like he didn't know what the hell he was talking about or doing this past off season. So for them to come out and play fairly well, I wouldn't say, I was overly impressed, but for them to play fairly well, I think it's a good thing for them going forward. And I'm, looking forward to seeing how they play this weekend against the Niners. That's a good game. I feel like that could be one of our games of the week. I think that's a good game to go with.
Yeah, I agree.